many miles away, Juan Ramirez.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Juan Ramirez, and as the title goes, many miles away, I would like for you to know that it's difficult, but at the same time it's an honor and a privilege for me to serve our country. And I'll start off by asking, who here in this room can tell me what Hoa means? At that time, in 2006, I did not know what Hoa meant. Well, I got orders to go to such a place named Hoa. What does Hoa mean? It was an acronym for the Horn of Africa. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that place, but it is a hot spot. And if our troops do not do what they're doing at the moment, it could become the next Iraq or the next Afghanistan. When I first boarded that plane with my unit, I was told, you're not going to be here in Iraq any longer. We're shipping you to the Horn of Africa. And I paused and I said, well, what's going on there? I don't know anything about the Hoa or the Horn of Africa. Well, we're going to a place called Djibouti. No, and it's not all the jokes that I heard about that place, because there is a country named Djibouti. Let me tell you a little bit about Djibouti. The country. It's roughly the size of Massachusetts. It has 460,000 people. Most of the people there migrated from Ethiopia or Somalia. The Ethiopians that migrated into that area were nomadic tribal people. And that migration process began in 825 AD. During that time, both the Afar and the Isas, which migrated from Somalia, got along pretty good. And then during the mid-1800s, there was an Anglo-French conflict. What they wanted during that time, as colonization began of the African country, they wanted access to the Red Sea, the British, the Italian, the French. Eventually, the French took over that area, and they colonized Djibouti. Back in the 1800s, in 1884, when it was colonized, Djibouti became known as French Somaliland. During that time, the French had staged a lot of influence in that small country. 10 years later, they became a protector of that small country. Well, as the years progressed, and that French influence continued, in 1977, Djibouti became an independent country. In 1981, they finally established the Constitution. Now that I told you about Djibouti and its a brief history on it, I would like to tell you about their people. I have the privilege of meeting most of the locals in that area. The people there are very wonderful. They really don't have nothing. Most of the people that we consider poor in this country have it 10 times better than the people in Djibouti. I saw things that I never thought would be so subhuman. I saw women suffering with kids with their bellies full of flies. I saw homes falling apart with heavy rains. And I saw many other things that I just couldn't believe people could live under those conditions. Despite all those hardships, the people of Djibouti were excellent. They were very hospitable. They love Americans, and they treated us with respect and dignity. So, why do I tell you all this? Because when I was first sent on a mission, I really didn't quite understand the mission. And I'll never forget what the Admiral said. Ramirez, you and your unit, combined with the other forces that we have there, you must win the hearts and minds of these people. Because if you don't, this is going to ignite to something else bigger. Well, I quite didn't get it at the moment. And eventually, with time, I did. When we used to go out in town once in a while, doing patrols, doing convoy ops, or whatever it was we had to do, I used to see little kids selling these lighters. And this is something that I confiscated. And as you can see, I know it's kind of small. It has the Twin Towers, and it has Osama bin Laden, and it has a plane. When you open this, it shows the explosion of the Twin Towers. So these horrible things were being sold out on the streets. Well, we found out that the money that they were making from these items were being, I guess, put in the black market to buy weapons for these foreign fighters that were trained in Somalia. As you all know, Somalia is kind of like the Wild Wild West. Anything goes. You have the right amount of money, you can get the equipment, the armament that you want. So what they do, they train them in Somalia, and they send them to Iraq. But I must say that the brave men and women that are out there in Africa that are trying to win the hearts and minds of these people continue to do an excellent job, despite the fact that once in a while you'll hear that these Islamic groups are doing horrible things. With that being said, I do believe that our presence there is the right thing to do. Mr. Toastmaster.